Now arriving at Yijiang Tower.
Once we get to the garden map with the koi pond around the middle, I'd like everyone to select Zarya and just meet in front of the point. As a side note, once your ultimate is ready, please don't use it. You'll probably only build it up once, and we really need to practice with it. Oh, perfect! We got it the first time! This is the first time this has happened, so that's good. Good sign.
Yeah, I really wish there was a way for us to like choose which.
I know. Yeah.
I thought there was a way at some point.
They took it out. We checked the settings like multiple times. So if you guys could just kind of like stand right about here, that'd be great. Over here, guys. Over here, backwards. Guys.
I'll go get them. Don't worry.
I'm doing the whole way around.
Over
I'm
here.
coming.
Okay, so I do want to mention that I've got a few hidden surprises throughout the course. They're not items on the map, and it has nothing to do with where Broad or Nuadin are, guys. It's all based on audio cues, so you'll hear something surprising. And it's also not the death sounds of Broad and Nuadin. But this means when I'm talking, you guys want to pay really close attention. Don't be wandering off or spinning in circles. Please keep your focus on me. You also don't want to fire off your gun because the sound of her right click might drown out the surprises. So if you think you figured out what the surprises are, don't say anything. We're going to let everybody try and figure it out. And at the end of the class, I'll ask what you guys think they were. If anyone gets it right, I'll say anything you want within reason in Zarya's voice. Or the best impression I can manage with a sore throat. So pay really close attention.
Worth it.
All right, so just, yeah, if you guys could just kind of line up like right here, that'd be great.
Wait, so what do we have to guess?
It's just, it's like a little audio cue. There's just going to be surprises throughout the course.
Okay.
So, yeah, and again, it's not something that you're going to see. It's not something you're looking for around the map. It's all just like an audio cue. So,
okay.
So Zarya's a really interesting character because she's one of the few heroes that actually changes over the course of gameplay. When people play her for the first time, they might find her damage incredibly lackluster and feel like they're not contributing, so they give up on her. In fact, this is what happened with me the first few times I played her until I realized how to utilize her. So, for those of you that are new to Zarya, hopefully this class will help you find the enjoyment in playing her. And to everyone else, I hope this class teaches you a few new tricks. So, to get started, what kind of character is Zarya and when should you pick her? Well, Zarya is an off-tank, which means she complements other tanks very well. She can protect a Winston or a D.Va as they dive in. Or she can cover a Ryan while he charges or swings.
Oh my gosh.
So cool.
But she should not be the only tank on your team. While her bubbles offer great protection, they're temporary, so Zarya alone will not give an enemy team pause like a Ryan or Rissa shield would. If you're the only tank holding a choke as Zarya, the enemy team is just going to walk right past you. Zarya also does not work well with a Roadhog, as the only other tank, as this combo really gives your backline very little protection. So she's great in duel and triple tank setups. So, in regards to the rest of the team composition, Zarya is one of the most heavily teamwork-focused characters in the game, and she'll benefit the most when she has teammates she can combo with. So, for those of you that have played Zarya or comboed with her before, what are some of your favorite ultimate combos? Asking you guys that. What are your favorite ultimate combos with Zarya?
Pharah and D.Va.
Pharah, definitely.
Yeah, good stuff. So the trend there is that to get the most out of Zarya, you really want someone on your team that can do area of effect damage with her Graviton. We'll cover more about her ultimate later on, but you want to pay attention to what sort of team you have and whether they're going to work well with the Zarya. If the DPS on your team are like a Mei and a Soldier, for example, they aren't going to benefit from your ultimate because they do single target damage, not area of effect. One of the great things about Zarya, though, is she has no direct counters like Reaper is to Winston. There's no enemy the other team could have that would totally invalidate Zarya. However, there are times when a different tank would be a better choice. Like if the enemy team has a Reaper and a Pharah, Zarya can't save her team from those ultimates, but a D.Va with Defense Matrix could. So Zarya can't do much against Pharah. She tends to get out of range, but D.Va can boost up and Defense Matrix her, take care of her. If the team has an enemy sniper, for example, Zarya can't do much to that enemy either, but a Winston could take care of that. So you want to pay attention to what sort of composition the other team has and whether you could be doing more if you were on a different tank. So, as we can see, Zarya has 400 health, which is the lowest health of any tank aside from Orisa. However, half of her health is shields. And the great thing about shields is that they regenerate if you're not taking damage. So no matter how low your health gets, if you can like back out and stop taking damage for a few seconds, you will regenerate 200 shield. So to demonstrate that, I want everyone to right click at your feet a couple times and then stop. And just give it a second while I stop shooting yourself. And just as you can see, your shields went right back up. So aside from Zarya being able to shoot herself, let's cover some other fun stuff. But before we talk about Zarya's attacks, we have to discuss her most important feature because it's tied to everything she does. She has a passive trait called Energy. So in the center of your screen, just below your crosshair, you'll see a number. It's likely a 0 right now. This represents your charge, and you can get up to a maximum charge of 100. And the amazing thing about this passive is it's a damage buff, and at 100 charge, you'll do 100% more damage. So how do you get charge? And more importantly, how do we get up to 100? Well, this is where Zarya's barriers, or her bubbles, as I will likely refer to them, come in. Her first ability is her particle barrier, which is a personal shield that absorbs 200 damage, or about 2 good Farah rockets, to put it in perspective. It lasts for about 2 seconds, or it lasts for 2 seconds, exactly, sorry. If you manage to absorb a full 200 damage, you'll get 40 charge from it, which means you need to cast 3 barriers before you'll get to 100 charge. The cooldown is 10 seconds, but for the purposes of this class, I've removed the cooldown. So you want to make sure that to be getting the most out of it when you use it in actual game, that you follow some of these tips. So the best way to use your personal barrier, of course, is to protect yourself from damage. From damage! Oh, too slow. You didn't bubble yourself. No, the whole point was to take you by surprise. So let's try again. I don't want you guys to spam your personal bubble. Use it once and try to time it so that when Ryan fire strikes, you catch the damage. All right, so go ahead, Brad. Oh, so did you get any charge from that?
Well, I didn't take damage, so I guess I'm good.
But did it give you any charge? Like, is there a number
I was
on
already.
your screen?
Yeah.
I
Okay,
got 20.
that's good. Yeah, so that's good. That's a decent. So, but you can do that. You can like walk in front of a fire strike and take the damage to get 20 charge right there.
Oh, I got 40. Okay.
Nice. But as you can see, you want to use your personal barrier anytime you're at risk of taking massive hits. However, you can also be a little selfish with your personal barrier and intentionally put yourself in harm's way in order to let your barrier take damage and give you some charge. So let's head over here to the back point real quick. We're going to pretend for a second that our Reinhardt is on your team. And so if this is a choke, for example, say the enemy team is Nuadin, what you can do as Zarya is if Nuadin's firing at your Rein, you can just jump in front real quick and bubble to take those hits and get some energy. So give it a try. Just jump in front and bubble and then quickly back up. Did you get any charge from that?
Got the 40.
I got 30.
Yeah, that's really good. Like that was barely any damage, you know. That was just a soldier, so that's great. All right, so let's head over here to the bridge. The trick about bubbling like that, though, is that you want the enemy to already be firing because a smart enemy is going to stop firing the second they see your bubble. But, all right, now this is something over here that, say the enemy team, you've killed them all on the point, and they say they had a soldier and he retreated over there. He's just going to take pot shots over here, and you can just kind of jump out and bubble as he shoots just to take that damage. So you want to use your barrier when, like, you can use it to get damage like that, get charged, when the enemy team is kind of back far enough that you're not going to need to use your bubble to save yourself soon. So if they're not really pushing the choke, you can bubble yourself and get some free charge. Or if they're back there like that, waiting for the rest of their team to respawn, you can just stand out here and get some charge. All right. So you guys can stand like right back here, like. So, Zarya's second ability is her projected barrier. It has the exact same properties as her personal barrier, except it can only be used on teammates, and its cooldown is 8 seconds instead of 10. Your primary goal with this barrier is to save teammates with it, and if you're in a heavy team fight and you have a split second to decide who to shield, you always want to try and bubble a healer if they're in danger. Keeping a healer alive will keep the rest of your team alive. The only other time you should be using projected barrier to exclusively build charge for yourself are again when you're in like a poke phase or you have time before you have to fully engage the enemy. Otherwise, you really want to hang on to this ability for when it's needed. For example, if a Rein takes one of your teammates by surprise and manages to charge them, ooh, there you go. So if you hadn't bubbled, that you would have taken a ton of damage there. So what I want to practice now is Perfect, Spicy! That was perfect! Yeah, that was great. Yeah, so the idea is if a Rhine is charging, you can bubble somebody in the middle of that, and it should give you 40 charge. It's a really easy 40 charge. So, you also want to look at what heroes the enemy team has and what sort of attacks you can negate. Like, playing against a Roadhog is great because you can bubble them as he hooks them, or you can save someone caught in a Junkrat trap, or you can have somebody that's been completely frozen by Mei. You can save them from the freeze. Oh, hold on a second. I think we just lost somebody.
Go.
Did we?
Fires on you. Go. Enemy
Oh!
Well, dude, it was just like hanging out over there, like zoning out. But the point was that, like, if you're getting frozen, you can bubble yourself. If you get completely frozen, though, a bubble won't break you out of that freeze. It also won't save you from, like, if you're trapped or if you're slept or something like that. But it is good against an Ana grenade. It'll remove the healing reduction or the healing freeze trait to that. You can also use the bubble offensively, so if you have like a Winston on your team, you can bubble him as he jumps in. The enemy has to deal with a Winston, so that'll give you free charge. Or if your Rhine is in range to hit enemies and start swinging his hammer, you could bubble him to protect him a little bit. So, there's another neat thing you can do over here, and I want Broad to just hold your shield up, and you guys come over here. I want you to kind of come stand perpendicular here. So as you can see, Zarya's bubble actually sticks out a little bit at the front of the barrier. Like, it's not fully covered. So what that means is if you bubble a shielding Rhine on your team and the enemy team shoots directly at the Rhine, you'll get charged. So if you see a Rhine on the enemy team and he's bubbled, you want to shoot around him, like shoot the barrier instead of directly at him, because you'll give the Zarya charge. With your barrier, you also want to be aware of which of your damage-dealing teammates have ultimate, because your bubble can, for example, keep an ulting Pharah alive long enough to wipe out most of the enemy team, whereas normally a Pharah is a sitting duck while she ults. So I want everyone kind of like around here, just loosely spread out. And what you're going to do, no, like out here outside. And what you're going to do is you're going to try and kill Pharah before she kills you with her ultimate. I know your bubble is like on an instant cooldown, but please only use it once just for the sake of this. All right, so you ready, Nuadin? All right, go for it. Well, Nuadin, for shame. But the gist of it is she killed 2 of your teammates, whereas before, without the bubble, you guys probably would have wrecked her before she got anybody. So, knowing that both of Zarya's barrier abilities have the same properties, let's try out some really cool uses for them. So I want everybody to line up right here and face our Rhine. You can back up a little bit. Yeah, there you go. All right, so now what we're going to do here is Rhine is going to Earth Shatter, and forget your Amna. I want you to bubble right as he says like the hammer, or like he's going to say hammer down. When he says ham, I want you to bubble. Okay. Nobody else bubble. You guys just take your hands off the keyboard. This is all on Amna.
I'll try not to.
Let's go.
All right.
I need to hit you a little bit for charge. Sorry. All right, we're good. Okay.
All right. So oh, see, there you go. Everyone else is protected. Nobody else fell down either because you protected them. All right, so now Amna, you can head to the back of the line, and Sarah, you're next. And we're gonna try it against a Diva Bomb now. You're just gonna stand still, and she's gonna blow up. But Diva Bomb, it takes 3 seconds to blow up, so you don't want to bubble yourself immediately because bubble only lasts 2 seconds. So just wait a second and then bubble yourself. And again, nobody else bubble; it's just on Sarah. All right, blow yourself up, Nuadin. Bubble, Sarah, bubble. Nice. There you go.
Perfect.
See again, everybody is safe. All right, so now we're going to practice against McCree. And McCree is kind of interesting because you can body block him. You don't even need to use your bubble to protect your team because Zarya is such a big character. So once our slow McCree gets over here...
I need to hit you. Sorry.
She's distracted swinging her hammer. So what I want you to do here, SD, is I want you to just, like, you're gonna run straight up to McCree as soon as he starts ulting, and he's gonna strafe side to side, and your goal is to just stay in front of him, so that even if he hits you with his ult, he's not gonna hit anybody behind you. Alright, so, Broad, go ahead. Make sure you fire off, Broad.
Fail.
That was really entertaining.
This last one just because I need to finish up the last one.
We're all sitting ducks.
So Amna, how did you survive that? Were you just like behind her perfectly?
Yeah,
or did you...
I have no idea. I was just standing behind everyone.
She wasn't blind behind someone else.
Okay, that's really funny though.
Wait, but was she supposed to pop her barrier?
She can, but if she's in front of Broad, like totally blocking her, Broad can't see you guys. Like she couldn't get the lock on, or she's not supposed to be able to get the lock on.
Oh, whether there's a particle barrier or not.
Yeah.
Okay, does that mean that like any character can do that? Like would a
Yeah,
Reinhardt
as
be
far
able to do
yeah,
that
like
without
like
shield?
if you're like a Zen and you're using Transcendence, even you can just like run up to him and totally block his shots, just get in his face. So yeah, if you're big enough and like you know your team's gonna die, and you don't have any protection, just run up into his face, and that's all he can hit is you.
Oh, okay. So because we're blocking his vision, he like can't
Yeah.
get a lock on.
Yeah,
anything
exactly.
behind me. Okay, I always thought
Because he
could
can't
get
shoot through you.
Right, I thought he would like be able to still get a lock on what's behind me, but I'd be absorbing the bullets. But then I was like, how many could I really absorb before dying myself? But, okay, got it. Thank you.
Well, even if you do, like if you die, I'm pretty sure it doesn't kill everybody else behind it. Yeah, we can try that again, Broad. So if you guys just line up perfectly, don't move this time, Broad. Have like so just come stand up in Broad's face, and just Broad get your ult. Or yeah. So there you go.
I can't absorb enough.
That worked though. That you saved everybody else.
Yeah, it's 7 health.
Well, in a perfect world, I would have panicked and ulted faster, maybe. I don't. I was pretty sure though that you could body block McCree. I know that Zen can do it. So now we're gonna do the same thing with Tracer, who hasn't done it yet. Spicy. Okay, so everybody else line up behind Spicy, and Spicy, you're gonna bubble after Tracer throws her ult at you. So as soon as it hits you, just bubble. Oh, Spicy!
Rip. Okay. One more time.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to shoot y'all a little bit.
Enemy contact.
I'll go behind. I only have 200 life.
I think in that instance, maybe do it in hit you dead center, and it was off to the side. So when you bubble, the bomb will fall off of your bubble. So if it was off to the side, it probably fell over here and blew up whoever was behind. But if it had hit you dead on and you bubbled, it would fall in front of you and protect it. Oh, okay.
Okay.
But like generally, you can use your bubble as kind of like a shield. It'll protect other people behind you. So like the Diva ult that we showed, that was 1,000 damage. But because, you know, it was instant damage, your bubble absorbed all of it and acted like a shield for everybody else behind you. And that actually works in gameplay. Like if there's an enemy Diva on the team and your team can't get to safety, if you can bubble yourself or one of your teammates and have them stand still, like you can save more than one person. I've seen it happen. So, Zarya's barrier will protect you from any knockback except a Rhine Charge, Doomfist Punch, or an ulting Winston. So that means Lucio and Pharah can't boop you while you have your bubble up. But the nice thing is that if you're using your bubbles correctly to negate damage, like you guys were there, like as you saw when you bubbled and took the damage, that gave you 40 charge right there. So it's easy to get charge if, you know, you're protecting yourself or your teammates from a good amount of damage. So what I want you guys to do now is come over here. And we have Junkrat here. He's just going to spam grenades at the bridge. What I want you to do, though, is like... Hold on a sec. Nuadin. So what... who do I want? All right. Amna and Sarah, I want you guys over here. And what you're gonna do is like Junkrat's gonna stop firing the second he sees you, because in normal gameplay most people would stop firing when they see a Zarya. So you're just gonna pop out and like bubble at the same time, try to get some hits, and then you're just gonna back off and let the other person go. And just repeat that, and I want you guys to get up to full charge. And then SD and Spicy, I want you guys over here doing the same thing. So just one at a time, jump out, bubble, and then back off. So go ahead.
Just a scratch.
Ooh, you guys are glowing.
I have 100.
Yeah, there you go. So see, that's not too bad, right? So if you use your bubble and a bubble on a teammate, you'll get pie charge pretty quickly. But as you can see, if you stop running out in front of Junkrat for a second, your charge decays really fast. It decays at 2 energy per second, so that means in less than a minute you'll be back to 0. So you don't if you're in like a regular match, don't get disheartened if you have difficulty keeping up high charge, especially if the team is dead or retreating. That's a lot of time where you're not getting hit. But remember that 2 good bubbles will get you around 80 charge, which is a massive damage increase by itself. And once you've got high charge, it's a lot easier to keep high charge. One thing you want to keep in mind, though, is that once you're high charge, you don't want to waste a personal bubble. I mean, most people would be like, oh, I'm at 90. I'm just going to keep bubbling over and over to keep my charge high. But if you do that and then like a couple seconds later, something is going to kill you, you don't have your bubble for that. So you usually want to wait till you're about 70 or 80 just to kind of gauge the fight and make sure that if you use your bubble, it's not going to get you killed in a few seconds. So now that we've covered how to use barriers to increase the damage Zarya does, let's talk about her attacks and how her charge affects them. So let's head over here. So I want you guys standing right here. So Zarya's first attack is her particle beam, or her beam, sorry. This attack has a maximum range of about 15 meters, so it's best used against easy to hit targets or those at close to medium range. So where we are right now, that's about the range, like that's about the extent of her beam. That's as far as she can go with it. There is no damage drop off though, so that means no matter how close you are to the enemy, your beam will still do the same amount of damage. Her beam also cannot headshot, so you always want to aim for the chest or the booty on an enemy, whatever is easiest for you to hit. Her beam's obviously not a projectile, but I bring that up because that means D.Va's defense matrix cannot stop it. So Broad, let's come over here. So I want you guys to just shoot Broad with your beam while she defense matrix. Defense matrix, Broad, yeah, don't go. You guys did so much damage. And it also means Genji can't deflect it. So don't kill Genji this time, but left click him. Just so you can see, yeah. Oh my god! So much damage! But yeah, so you get the gist. You can damage them through those abilities. Alright, so I want you guys now to come over here. Oh yeah, poor, sorry, bro. Okay. So I want you guys to, I want Esty and Sarah, you guys to come over here and just line up. Like right here.
Enemy contact.
Alright, so what we're going to do is one at a time, you're going to attack Broad just with your general left click while you're uncharged and try and get her just to half health. Don't kill Broad. She's going to heal up, and then I want you to shield yourself over and over until Broad gets you to 100 charge with her attacks. Once she does, I want you to attack her again and get her to half health just to see like how much more damage you do once you've got full charge. Alright, so just attack her until she gets to about half. Yeah, it takes forever, see? Alright, you can stop Broad heal up. Alright, so now you want to just shield yourself over and over. And once you're at 100, do the same thing. Yeah, see, it's a lot faster. Okay, don't kill it. Alright, so now you go to the back, and Sarah, you can do the same thing. Alright, Amna and Esty, you can come out here, and we're gonna do the same thing over here. Right here. Or whoever else was the other person that didn't try it.
Spicy, go the others. Room.
Oh, I'm in the room. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Cool.
Alright.
Whoa.
Did Amna get to try?
No, I need to get shot at.
So yeah, it's a lot of damage. So Zarya's uncharged beam only does about 95 damage a second, which might sound like a lot, but in practice, it's not very satisfying. So to get the most out of Zarya, we want to get it a high charge. So as you can see, it was a massive difference though, because at 100 charge, Zarya does 190 damage a second. That means that you can outright kill a Tracer who has 150 health in less than a second, and you can kill most DPS in just over a second. So Zarya goes from being one of the most lackluster damage dealers in the game to one of the deadliest. As you guys may have noticed also, Zarya starts to glow once she gets really high charge. That's a warning to the enemy team that Zarya is about to really mess them up, and a lot of people don't really realize how dangerous a high charge Zarya is.
Wait.
It's also a notification.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your sentence.
Well, I was just going to continue. So.
Oh, okay. I missed the part where you said she ends up doing 190 per second. How does that work?
Well, because normally with her beam, she'd do 95 damage a second. So at 100% charge, you do 100% more damage. So that makes it 190.
Oh, I see. Got it. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. It's also a notification to your healers that you're one of the most valuable teams, or valuable characters on your team when you're glowing. Because if a Mercy were to pocket you, you do 250 damage a second. That means that you could outright kill almost like any DPS, any healer in less than a second. You just destroy them. So you really want your healers to keep you alive. One thing you do want to be careful of, though, and it's really easy to forget this, is like once you get high charge, don't let the bloodlust go to your head. If you die, you go to 0 charge, which is absolutely heartbreaking after doing so much damage. And if the enemy's smart, they'll try to kill a high charge Zarya. So once you hit max charge, stay alive. So I want everybody over here by this rock right now. So now on to, well, actually over here, actually, sorry. Just so you can see. So Zarya's second attack is her right click, which people call her grenade. It does 45 damage a second when it's uncharged, and it consumes 25 of Zarya's ammo, so you can fire it 4 times before you have to reload. The only thing is, though, that it doesn't fire as fast as you can hit the trigger. It only fires once per second. What you can do to get a little more damage out of this, though, is you can right-click and then immediately beam in between. That way you can still get 4 grenades off, but you also do a little bit of beam damage in between. So that's a good thing to practice. So, the other thing is that her grenade has a bit of an arc to it, which means that the farther you aim, the higher you have to aim your reticle up. So what I want you guys to do now is to shoot your grenade into this window over here on the point, while moving kind of backwards and forwards, just to get a feel for how the arc changes depending on how close you are. Okay, I think you guys get it.
Enemy contact.
Okay. I know you're just like super eager to damage that empty point, but... Alright, so now we're going to compare the damage that her left click does to her right click. So, Spicy, would you just come up here for a second? I just want you for like 1 second just to hit Broad with your left click, just for a second. Like an actual second, like 1 Mississippi. Okay, good. And now I want you to hit her with your right click. So the first charge did about like 3 bars of health, and that one did like 1.5. Like it's nothing in comparison. So you always want to use your beam if you can hit the target with it. But if you can't, like they're out of range, or if they're like a really fast-moving character like a Tracer, you can right-click her because she's a lot easier to hit that way. So I want you guys to try right-clicking Tracer as she blinks around you. It's a lot easier to hit her than it is to do with her beam. Okay, there you go. But try and hit her with your left click just to see if you can do it, because yeah, it's a lot harder to keep track of a Tracer. Well, she doesn't have her blink up, so you guys are gonna kill her. Yeah, the idea is like if you have a Genji or a Tracer that's moving really erratically around you, it's a lot easier to just right click them. You also want to use your right click if you can hit multiple targets, because she'll do 45 damage to every single target she hits. So if you've got 3 enemies, that will outdamage your beam if you can hit 3 enemies at once. Also, her right click knocks people back. So what I want you guys to do now is try and knock me off the bridge with your right click. That was really easy there. Yeah, there you go. But you can use it to kind of like launch
I wasn't ready.
But you can use that to kind of like launch people into the air because it is predictable. If you hit them in front of like by their feet, they're gonna that was gonna happen.
Okay.
That was always gonna happen.
Now arriving.
But
at
like you can
Lee
launch
Jong Tower.
enemies into the air and that'll make it easier for you to hit them with your beam. Also, her grenade is a projectile, which means that divas and Genjis can eat and reflect it.
Together, we are strong.
Oh, wrong map. Unfortunately, we have to do this a few times to get the right one.
Does Zarya's charge affect how much damage her right click does?
How much? Sorry, that
Now arriving at
I didn't hear you.
Does Zarya's charge affect how much her right click does? How much damage?
Yeah,
It
it'll do 90 damage instead of 45.
does? If you're fully charged.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that means that 2 right clicks could just about kill any,
Together,
squishy
we
character,
are strong.
which is like really nice.
Basically, Tracer.
All right, I want you guys to come back over here to the bridge, or come to the bridge on your side. That'll be a little easier for you guys. So just stand up on the middle of the bridge there, if you would. So next up is Zarya's ultimate, Graviton Surge. This ultimate has the potential to be one of the most devastating in the game if you combo it correctly, as it pulls the enemy together for 4 seconds, allowing your team to quickly wipe them out. Unfortunately, this is going to be really awkward because nobody has grab right now, so you guys are going to have to attack us a little bit to get your grabs up. I'm going to attack you back. Okay, don't kill us.
Have it!
Oh
Have
my
it!
God.
But if one of y'all turn around, I'm gonna health pack. Y'all can hit me. Oh jeez!
Oh, sorry! I don't
I
know
also
what it
need
was
to
doing.
unfortunately build up some charge, so...
You're fully charged.
Oh god. Are you guys at Grav or are you still...
I'm at 43.
My ultimate.
Well, you know what? Let's just go over here and stand on the health pack and you guys can like beam us in here. You guys are trying so hard to kill Broad.
How about 2 of them come over here?
Oh, okay, yeah.
To the bridge where y'all are just at. Yeah, and then that way.
Stop bubbling! I need charge too!
You got it, Spicy?
Yep.
Okay. Who else needs charge?
Alright, I'm good.
But like, as you can see, if you're hitting someone with your beam, you build charge pretty fast. That's why playing against tanks without shields is really nice because you get your ultimate really quickly. Alright, everybody just get to full health and we'll stand over here on this bridge. Just right up here if you guys would. On the bridge.
Sorry.
It's okay. Grav has an arc, but it's the same arc as her right click. So if you can get good at throwing her right click, you can throw her grab the same way. Her grab has a radius of 9 meters, which means you have a little bit of leeway when using it, and you don't directly need to hit an enemy with it. Grav does detonate on impact with an object or a player, though. So this means that if somebody jumps in front of you as you're grabbing, your grab will hit them. It also means that if you were to hit a flying Pharah, the grav would appear above her. So which one of you feels like you're kind of confident with your aim? And if no one, that's okay. I'm just gonna like nominate one of you. So, all right, Amna, it's on you. No,
I tried to hide!
All right, so I want you to try grabbing Nuadin. She's not gonna make any
Wait.
recommendations.
How am I
Yeah.
supposed to hit her?
Just you can do, well, practice with your grenade. But even so, as you can see, like, you know, you can grab walls and things like that. So any object, the grab will stick to. Grab also has the really nice added perk of sucking people through walls. So if there was like anybody inside that building, they might have gotten sucked up into the ceiling. So to demonstrate that, well, you guys are
We're gonna die!
But because you can grab through the wall here, this is actually a really good trick if enemies are on the bridge, because you can usually pull them and they'll just fall right into the pit. You can do that kind of thing on the third point of King's Rope, right near the end, because there are a couple spots where there's a pit. And on Ilios well, if you have a Mei, then you can also do that there. Just have the Mei put her wall over the pit and use your grab on that. Just to showcase though, it doesn't work on enemies that like it doesn't. If you put your grab in the well, like on the wall in the well, it's not going to pull enemies in. It'll just pull them to the lip. So I want you guys to come over here. Are we missing something? Okay, we're good.
Enemy contact.
So all right, I want Spicy. I want you to just grab right here.
Fire at will.
So it might look like they would fall over the lip, but they're not going to. They just get stuck up there. So like if you're on like Nepal, the Sanctum map, and you think, oh, I'm gonna grab off the side here and it's gonna suck them all in, it won't. They'll just get pulled to the lip and it doesn't work. All right, so now I want everybody to come over to the point. I'm not even reading my notes at this point. I have to catch up. So, were we missing someone? Oh, okay, you're over here. It's like, where were you? So grab is potentially one of the most slow building ults, which means you really want to pay attention to the situation at hand before you use it so it's not wasted. Ideally, you want it to turn the tide of battle by grabbing high priority enemies that when killed will make the fight easier for your team. You don't need to wait for a huge 5 or 6 man grab. Those are really nice, but a 2-person grab that only gets 2 healers is going to be a massive help to your team. So you want to use it when you can catch worthwhile targets in it, like DPS or healer. So if the enemy tanks are out of position, for example, you could grab the enemy backline and kill their DPS and healers, and that's a great grab right there. You don't want to use grab, though, if the fight is already won. It's too valuable and ultimate to catch a few stragglers. Also, never use grab right in front of a payload. If the payload moves forward, it will destroy your grab, and I learned that the hard way. So it's one thing to understand when to use grab, but to get the most out of it, you'll need a lot of damage on your side. Grab itself actually does some damage to the enemies caught in it, but it's only 5.5 per second, which is totally not worth it. It's like not worthwhile at all. So if you're going to destroy the enemies caught in it, you either want to grab when you have really high charge. That way, if you right click a couple times, you're going to kill the enemy. Well, you're going to kill the squishy enemies in it. Or you want to combo it with a really good DPS. So as mentioned earlier, any character that can do area damage is perfect for that, like a Reaper, a Pharah, a Doomfist even. You could also bubble a Reinhardt and let him swing his hammer, and that'll do a huge amount of damage if you don't have somebody else to combo with.
I have a question.
So, oh yeah, go ahead.
So when you've grabbed a bunch of squishies, did you say that it's better to right click into that instead of using your laser?
Yeah, if there's 3 or more people caught together, right clicking will out damage your beam.
Oh, okay. And that doesn't matter if they're squishies or not. So just if there's more than 3, then right click. Is that the rule?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So for a moment, I want us to just invent a crazy situation and pretend you guys use grab on the point here, and you caught all 3 of us in it. This is not a good grab. This is like you caught somebody that can bubble, somebody that can defense matrix, and someone that can, deflect. But for a second, let's just pretend that's how you grab them. What I want you guys to do is think about how you would attack this. So if we're all in this grab, what would you do to attack us?
I guess you wait for them, like you wait for D.Va to use Matrix so you don't, waste your attack. Or you can beam.
Yeah, exactly.
Them.
Yeah, with these guys, it's going to be really awkward to right click because even if D.Va's defense matrix is down, Genji might deflect or Zarya might be bubbling. So your best option in this case is to left click. Which one of these characters do you think you should be left clicking? Or using your beam on, rather? If we're all together in a grab.
I guess Genji, because we'll kill him faster.
Exactly. Good stuff. Yeah, the Genji will die the fastest. He's also likely to be the most dangerous if he gets out of grab. Like, if he survives it, he could ult. He could cause a lot of havoc to your team. But D.Va and Zarya are a lot slower, and, they don't do as much damage. So it's not as bad if they survive. So what I want to know, though, is if you could combo with any character against us 3, which character would you combo with?
Enzo!
Perfect. Oh man, you are on point. Yeah, because every other character could be blocked by, the defense matrix or the bubbles. I mean, Orion could swing, but again, he's going to hit the bubbles, which isn't terrible because he could probably outdamage them. But a Hanzo can eat right through all of this. There's literally nothing that they can do. No, not switching yet, guys. Not switching yet. I watched them just both throw themselves off the map. But yeah, a Hanzo, is like a great thing to have. So if you can find a good one, just stick to them like glue, because he can stand far enough back that his arrow won't be eaten by D.Va or a Genji. The only thing that can ever negate a Hanzo ult is a Zenyatta Transcendence, but it's a lot easier to kill a single Zenyatta than it is to deal with like a Rhine Shield or Mei Walls or Defense Matrix. So the thing about Grav is you really need to communicate with your team. You want to let them know when you're at 80% or so with your ult, and ask the DPS you plan to combo with what their ult is at. You want to let them know you're planning to throw it ahead of time. Just saying something as simple as, if I see an opening in this fight, I'm going to Grav, will let them know to be ready. Another important thing to mention is that you want to be aware when Graving that D.Va's Defense Matrix will eat Grav. It lasts for such a short period now, though, that, well, it doesn't now because I changed the settings, but usually it lasts for such a short period that you no longer really have to get D.Va out of mech if you want to ult. Oh, got eaten!
Oh no.
So what I was gonna have is, or what I was gonna do is have D.Va just kind of like Defense Matrix and then stop it and Defense Matrix, because she has a 1 second cooldown before she can cast Defense Matrix again, and if you can time it right, you can cast your Grav in between her cast. So I don't know if anyone's feeling bold enough to use their Grav on her. Perfect. There you go.
I see someone try throwing a right click at me.
Yeah, you might go heal Nuadin. Genji can do the same thing though. He can deflect Grav. But to avoid that, again, you could just simply not aim at Genji. Like, it's got a 9-meter radius, so you could aim to the side. But also, like, you can practice with your right clicks, because you can hit pretty close to him with them. Yeah, see, there you go. So, I mean, again, that's not really something that you'd want to do. You don't want to grab near a Genji unless that's your only option.
Oh no!
3 of you got it?
I'm coming.
The best thing you can do, though, is bait out a deflect if there's a Genji on the enemy team, because if you're comboing with like a Pharah or a Reaper and the Genji gets caught in Grav, he is going to deflect, and that's going to destroy half of your team if he deflects like a Reaper ult. So some other heroes you want to be cautious of when you're Graving, as we said, were Zenyatta, because his trance will negate like almost anything, except for like a Junkrat or a Tracer or a D.Va ult, because those are just so much instant damage he can't out-heal it. So Rhine shields are also really obnoxious depending on what you're comboing with. Like if you want to use a D.Va, Rhine is just going to shield the D.Va and you're not going to get the kill. So you want to really destroy the Rhine shield depending on what you're comboing with. But again, if you're comboing with like a Hanzo, the Rhine shield doesn't matter. As a quick side note, the only heroes that have some means of escaping Grav are Reaper with his Wraith form and Orisa when she uses Fortify. So now that we have covered all of Zarya's abilities, let's discuss her positioning. I want everybody over here on this side of the point. Just like right around here. Yeah, that's perfect. So in a normal situation, you know, Broad as Rhine would be kind of pushing towards the point. And like a lot of Zaryas tend to hang out like up here. And this is kind of awkward because, like, sure, you might get a little bit of charge, but if your healer starts getting attacked, you have to turn around and, like, see through the mess of enemies to heal her, or to bubble her. And in the middle of, like, a team fight, if you're all up in here, like, and somebody's like, I need help, like, you're like, where are they? I don't know. I don't see them. So you want to kind of be standing back just a little bit. Like, you can still cover your Rhine from here, but you can also protect your healers. So you want to be able to see, like, have a good view of the battlefield so that you can protect who you need to protect in a split second. All right, so now we've covered the majority of the course. So I want to teach you guys a handy little trick. Grenade jumping. All right, we're gonna go over here. So what grenade jumping is it essentially propels you forward, and it's actually faster than walking. So what you do is you right click and then jump and also move forward at the same time. So you're just like, whoop. And you can just keep doing it. And it is actually faster than walk. The only thing is, though, you only have 200 shields, so you don't want to go below 200 while you're doing this. But if you say you get to about the bridge, like you're walking from spawn, you can use this to get to the bridge, and then once you get to the bridge, just walk the rest of the way, and your shields will regenerate before you get to point, so you're back at full health, and you got there a little bit faster. All right, so are you guys feeling kind of good with that? You think you've got the hang of the grenade jumping? Right click and then jump and move at the same time. Well, I hope so, because your next challenge, oh thank you guys, is you're gonna jump across this.
Oh no.
Yeah. Watch me screw it up as a demonstration. Oh, yep. You can do it though, I promise.
Yay.
No, but this is actually like, knowing how to do this is actually useful because I've actually escaped from the point with this trick.
Oh no. It's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, but it is a good thing to practice because it is handy. Like it is something that you will use in everyday matches.
Oh no.
This is really funny just listening to all of you guys die. Oh my god! Oh man.
Practice makes
It's also easier if you do it from higher ground, so like right over here. And as you can see, like the rim around the pond it gets kind of wider, so you want to do it at the narrowest point that you can. Oh, you guys need to right click and then jump. Oh, spicy!
Oh.
This is fun. Oh, I screwed that up too. I can't even talk. I'm screwing this up too, so don't even worry about it.
Lol. I put my right
way
click
off
in,
the-
like in the hole instead of the bridge.
Alright, well you guys can stop killing yourself. That's something you can do in private later if you want. There is another use for this though. You can get to higher point. Oh, so close! Privately. Alright, but we're just gonna go over here as soon as we're all here. Alright, this is the way. Alright, you can use it to get to higher positions, and if I don't screw this up, it'll be great. You can't jump from here, because this is just too low, but if you're on this like little rock here and right click and jump, bam, you're up here. And you avoided having to go all the way around and up the stairs. And this actually works in a lot of maps. Like almost every single map has a way that you can get up to a position where you'd otherwise have to like walk all the way around. So right click and then jump. And yeah, I know you can cheat and just walk up the rocks, but for the sake of the course, yeah, there you go. Oh, almost. Perfect.
Oh,
Wow.
Beautiful. Effortless.
Broad. All right. So lastly, we're going to talk a little bit about Zarya's strengths and weaknesses versus other characters. So Zarya thrives against a Junkrat, as you guys saw. It's a lot of easy charge because Junkrat can't really stop shooting you. D.Va is also one of the best characters to play against, excluding her possibly eating your grav, because you can just left click her and you'll get ult charge so fast. Zarya is also great against Genji, as we saw, because she can left click him. And she's also great against Winston because his weapon does area damage. So if you bubble yourself in front of a Winston, like he either has to stop attacking your teammates or he's going to get you charged. Zarya is also surprisingly fairly strong against Symmetra, as she can get easy charge from Sim's turrets before lobbing a grenade to quickly destroy them. So what I want you guys to do is just one at a time. You're going to walk through here and bubble. Your goal is just, like, don't destroy the turrets. Your goal is just to get charge and walk through the room unscathed. Alright, so Amna, you're front, so you're going to walk through first. Just walk through and, like, bubble and get to the other side. Almost! Oh! Yeah, Broad was like waiting to kill you all. But yeah, you can also, if Symmetra's like chasing you, you can always use your grenade to like knock her back a little bit just to give you some more breathing. So, how'd you guys like the car wash? But as mentioned earlier, though, Zarya doesn't have any direct counters like Reaper is to Winston, but there are enemies that are going to annoy the heck out of you. And one of the biggest things that will hamper you as Zarya is if the enemy is running 2 shields. Even if they have 1 shield and the enemy is really good at staying behind it, Zarya doesn't get ult charge from damaging shields. And if she's not getting like energy, she's going to have a really hard time doing damage to those shields. So, long-range characters like Widow and Hanzo are also hard to deal with the Zarya. Yeah. As all you can really do is lob your grenades at them or bubble a teammate that can reach them. So I want you guys, to try and hit Broad where she is now. So it's a little awkward, yeah. Oh my god! Yeah, see, I think you only hit Broad like twice there. So it's really hard to go against a Widow as Zarya because you don't do much. Okay, you guys can stop. So Bastion is also very dangerous, as he'll eat through your shield and all your health before you can kill him. Your bubble really doesn't absorb as much as you think it does. So you want to stay back with the Bastion and lob grenades at him and bubble anyone he's attacking. Sombra is also another huge pain in the butt. She's a counter for nearly every character, but her EMP has an added impact on Zarya. It strips her of her shield.
Be right back.
So this means during an EMP, Zarya only has 200 health, which makes her fairly squishy. So to counter this, your best option is to bubble yourself right before Sombra EMPs. And you can do that, like usually, well not usually, but sometimes Sombra will throw a translocator into the middle of your team. And as soon as she does that, you know she's going to use EMP. So as soon as you see the translocator tossed in the middle, you just bubble.
Lol.
As one additional thing I want to mention, Zarya has a unique setting in the control menu that lets you change how sensitive her barrier is. So that means...
Quick question,
Yeah,
sorry, about the Sombra thing. So like if I pop my barrier as soon as Sombra pops ult, then I get to keep my 400 HP and I get to keep my offhands. I still have my particle barrier for someone else if it's available.
I think you do. I can't remember exactly. Nuadin, what's your ult at?
98%.
Okay. All right, so you guys just... All right, bubble yourselves and then EMP. So bubble. And can you use your barrier or not?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope, but their
Exactly
shields
how-
didn't go away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still have my
She's still
400
really
HP. Yeah. Okay, cool.
But yeah, Zarya has a custom setting in the menu that will let you kind of change your projected barrier accuracy. So that means that instead of like having, aiming like off to the side here and being able to bubble SC, you can like make it so that you have to literally be targeting her in order to bubble her. And that can be useful if you're kind of in team fights and you find you're always bubbling the wrong person. So say if I'm right here and I want to bubble like Sarah or Spicy, like I might actually bubble Sarah because, I don't have to be directly on Spicy to bubble her. I might be too close to Sarah, but you can change it so that you have to literally be directly pointing at that character to bubble. I wouldn't recommend you change the setting though, because like in the heat of battle, it's really annoying having to like spin around and be like, okay, I have to be exactly on this person in order to bubble them. So I wouldn't recommend you change it, but you can if you want. Also, you might want to consider changing Zarya's default crosshair, because as you build charge, the crosshair gets thicker and thicker until it actually obscures your vision a little bit. So if you find that's a problem, you can switch to any other crosshair. The number underneath that represents your charge will be there, regardless of what crosshair you have. All right, so if there are any questions, please raise your beam above your head. Yeah, so that should wrap things up, guys. I hope you learned something about Zarya. And again, if you have any questions later, you can just feel free to message me. And I think, Amna, Broad, and Nuadin all recorded, so you can watch the class there, again, if you need to.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I learned so much about Zarya. That was
Yeah, I
amazing.
agree. This was so helpful. I played 12 minutes on Zarya, so I learned so much.
Yeah.